Everyone, welcome back to JUCO Jam, Season 4, Episode 10. I can't believe Episode 10 already, Brandon. Can you believe
My
it?
goodness.
You know the season is getting good when we're in double digits.
We're getting
All right,
down to
Brandon,
it.
here's the deal. We got a big schedule ahead. It's going to be a long rundown. We're going to do an abbreviated version of the rewind. We're going to start on Saturday in the rewind, where you would expect us to, in the Panhandle. Gulf Coast stays hot. They get a big 76-64 win over Pensacola. And Chipola, never count out Donnie Tyndall, 78-69 winners over the Raiders of Northwest Florida. The first time they played, Brandon, you might recall Northwest Florida went scorched earth. They hit 14 out of 20 from three. They cooled down 8 out of 22. That was just enough. Northwest Florida led and scored by Braylon Roman with 17. DeMarion Van Kelly off the bench with 15. Huge win for Chipola just to stay in the mix. Any thoughts on what happened Saturday in the Pan?
The Panhandle is just as good as ever, and every one of those teams in there could make a deep run. It's wild watching that night in, night out. Like
Great coaches, great players, good
all over the
atmospheres.
place. Like, and as you look at the upcoming schedule, it's like every single game is like, well, that's a must win. That's a must win. That's it. Like,
Good, and they all have good point guards. Like the point guards of every team are good. All right, let's transition if we shall, Brandon. Monday night, as we record this last night, South Plains 74-70 winners over Midland. Midland shot the lights out of the ball. They hit 12 threes. Darius Carr was 16. Bo Hearns, who we featured on the show, had 15. South Plains, they did their business at the free throw line, 26 for 32 in the Texan Dome. Micah Bell with 13, Zion Pipkin with 12. Both of those fellas, Brandon, I know you've made a note of this, 6 for 6 from the free throw line each. Huge win for South Plains. And as I check my notes that might be related to JUCO, survey says South Plains now in second place, 7-4 in the WAC Jack. Midland drops to 6-4. That puts them in third, a half game ahead of New Mexico.
Yeah, it just kind of felt a little different for South Plains there. I'm sure there was a very heartwarming, calm, conversation between Cinco and his team about toughness. I feel like maybe that kind of conversation happened. Lots of kumbaya moments.
Rotational changes,
Yeah,
right? Different guys are playing more,
yeah.
and
He
different
he
guys are
said, "Who
playing
wants to
less.
step up? Who wants to step up and hit and get hit?" And that's what they did. And when you play with that toughness and you take advantage of it and you get to the line like that, good things happen. So, yeah, I imagine there was some conversation about that, and that seemed to have paid off.
We're going to transition to the rundown. Brandon, I tell myself no more than 10. I'm not going to do more than 10.
I
Here we
count
are.
32
We
on.
are. We had 13. We've scratched one. We're down to 12. All right. We're going to start Wednesday. Uh, two Panhandle games, Chipola, Tallahassee, Gulf West at Northwest Florida. I mean, this feels like the show's completely dedicated to the Panhandle. We love other people. We'll get to them.
We
But just
could
any
have our own
thoughts?
Panhandle show. You
I mean,
could.
is there
There's
is there
enough
any
content.
anything that you would like to add about Chipola, Tallahassee, Gulf Coast Northwest, or it's just
Must see
must-watch
basketball.
TV and just tune in.
Must see basketball. Tune in.
Hooper's gonna hoop. All right. No love lost between these next two games. Moberly at Three Rivers, Arizona Western at Eastern Arizona. There's a good chance that one of these Missouri teams will get to Hutch. Between Moberly, Three Rivers, Mineral Area, they'll be favored against whoever is the Northern Illinois region winner. Um, it's been back and forth. I mean, I think Moberly, Three Rivers, Mineral, put them in a blender. I don't know who comes out. They all have their little differences, but I think this is going to be just a tremendous. If you're a casual basketball fan and you found yourself on this channel, embrace Moberly, Three Rivers. I think it's going to be a really good one.
Yeah, I think that at Three Rivers game is going to be big. I think the environment's going to be awesome. This is a bit of a resurgence for Three Rivers this year, and they got to grab that mo. They got to grab the big mo while they can, and see if they can make a drive late here towards Hutch, and they have the talent to do it. It's just all three teams have had some inconsistencies. Depending on which week it is, right? So whoever's going to kind of take advantage of this time of year and say, okay, we got less than a month left until we're having to go into conference tournament play. Um, how are we gonna finish?
And then in Region One, Arizona at Western, Eastern Arizona, two really good programs. Ryan Hunt, kind of an All-American type player for the Gila Monsters, and just a shout out to the voice of the Gila Monsters, Lee Patterson, one of the stars of broadcasting in JUCO hoops, does a terrific job. Goes way back, knows like the old school legends of Eastern Arizona, like Jody Beck. He's always a blast to listen to. Thursday night, we know Mondays and Thursdays, that means whack jack basketball. We get all jacked up for it. Midland, I think they've lost 4 of 5. Here, Odessa is, I believe they're in sixth place as we record this. Huge game for both. Howard at New Mexico, kind of a surging New Mexico team, and Howard just keeps on winning. And then Utah State, Eastern versus Snow. So what excites you most about Thursday?
Well, that Howard at New Mexico game is two teams that are healthy and playing well. I don't know if anybody noticed, but Terry Copeland back for Howard, which was great to see. And so Howard without Terry Copeland was doing work. Howard with Terry Copeland presumably will do better work. So that's good. And New Mexico, a team that I think is really underrated, really undervalued. I'm not going to point fingers, but I think they could get a little more respect and love, and this is a great opportunity for them to make a statement. And then that Midland Odessa game, hey, you're sitting in third from Midland there. You're sitting in sixth with Odessa. It's only February 10th. You hate to say like this game could, make or break the season, but you also don't hate to say that sometimes. So we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out.
Yeah, you like a little pressure. This is interesting. New Mexico takes some flack about their schedule, right? Not the most robust non-conference schedule. I did a little research. These are the schools outside of the Whack Jack within 6 hours of their
Hmm.
campus. Okay. And I don't think you can really fairly say that a junior college should go play further than 6 hours away. I mean, everybody has different monetary situations. I don't know theirs. All I know is they have a great logo.
They
All
do
right,
not have a private jet. I know this.
yeah, okay. With outside of the Whack Jack, within 6 hours, we have Ranger,
Mm,
Western Oklahoma, Temple, Weatherford, and Hill. That's it.
yeah,
That's
that's tough.
it.
Not
It-
ideal.
so it's kind of one of those situations, people are going to hold it against them. I don't know whether it's fair, unfair, whatever. But what can you do?
Right.
Right? This is not a world where we're chartering private planes, to go places. So
Great little airport in Hobbs, though. Flown in and out of that baby before. The terminal is about the size of this office that I'm in. And
To your point, though, New Mexico playing good basketball, better basketball. We had Coach Kyle Cooper on a couple weeks back. One of the players, that we talked about on that show was Brandon Ivory, injured early in the year, basically missed an entire month. Has been playing his best basketball recently. Hit 6 out of 8 threes last night, and of course, I sent Coach Cooper a nice message and congratulated him on getting Ivory in the right spots. So all good coaching there. Saturday, Brandon, we got five. We got five to talk about.
Whew,
Florida Southwestern and Eastern Florida. I mean, these two teams are hot, hot,
hot,
hot.
hot.
Woo, real hot. Um, Almost like a fajita skillet from Chili's. I mean, it's hot.
Sizzling.
Here,
It
the
sizzles.
hot plate.
It sizzles.
Florida Southwest, you wouldn't know it by just looking at the rankings. They actually lead the Citrus Conference, 9-1. You would think they would be the top rated team if one were to rank someone, but they're not. Underdog. Eastern Florida State playing really good basketball. They upset Daytona recently. And then, we're going to talk a little bit more Panhandle, Northwest Florida at Tallahassee. Coach Hendren, best dressed coach in the Panhandle. What are your thoughts there on a little bit of Florida hoops on Saturday?
Yeah, don't overlook that other side of the state, right? Panhandle
They play basketball too.
they do also play
Scholarships,
basketball.
paid coaches, the whole deal.
There's roofs on the courts, which is great.
Indoor hoops, air
Yep.
conditioning. They got it all.
They've got it all. I'm really Florida Southwestern is playing great basketball right now. I'm really kind of excited to see this Eastern Florida team as they keep cruising along. There's just kind of a group of players on there that I think that if the stars align could make a deep run. And so, that's a team I'm really excited to kind of watch here close it out.
Um, we're going to hit some other regions here. We're trying to
Hmm.
be inclusive during this segment of the show.
Yeah.
Seward at Butler.
Jayhawk Hoop Alert.
Seward playing pretty good basketball. Nobody talks about Seward playing pretty good.
Bad, you know, under the
Blinn
radar.
at Kilgore. This is an interesting game. Blinn is surging. Kanaza Chukwu, the big man, transferred from Vincennes into Blinn, starting now for them. Been part of the resurgence. Kilgore. This is another one of those weird things. The rankings don't really reflect what's happening on the court. Kilgore is leading Region 14. They're 11-2. They beat Trinity Valley head to head. They're
Yep.
still behind them in the rankings, but right now they're the team to beat in Region 14.
Got that great
And
guard to play down there.
I mean, there's I mean, I guess we're calling them a dark horse. I mean, to me, they're like a top 10 team, but Region 14's done really well. And Hutch recently, right? Angelina, Panola, Trinity Valley wins it all last year. Like these are battle tested teams. A Belen or a Kilgore could win the region tournament, go to Hutch and do some real damage.
Absolutely.
And then finally, the granddaddy of them all, the most nostalgic rivalry game in junior college basketball. Southeastern, the Blackhawks travel to tropical Indian Hills, Ottumwa, Iowa. The voice of Russ W. Oker is going to be on the call.
Smooth and sultry as usual.
I mean, you got to tune in, guys. Iowa Media Network. I mean, they're going to have a great production. It's going to be a great game. It doesn't get that is the Duke Carolina of NJCAA hoops.
Always a great game. Doesn't matter who's having a good or a bad season. It's always,
Good
yeah,
season,
it's
bad
always
season, gonna be a good game.
gonna be a good game. Gonna be a
Going
good
to be a
game.
real good game. And Coach Dewey was on the show just recently. All right, guys, that concludes the rundown. Stay with us when we return. Super excited. We have the head badger joining us, Coach Andrew May from #1 ranked Snow.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Everyone, welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are so excited to have a returning guest, Coach Andrew May. Of all the coaches who've been on JUCO Jam, you definitely have the best t-shirt game. So, Coach, thanks so much for joining us today.
No, excited to be on with you guys. My wife got me this for Christmas. My dad's actually a JUCO guy as well, so he grew up in SoCal and played at Pierce College, and then eventually went to BYU, and then he coached JUCO at LA Valley College, and then he got a job here at Utah Valley when Utah Valley used to be a JUCO program, and so I was about 12 years old when he was coaching there, and I was filming the games and doing all that. So it's in my blood, and I just thought the t-shirts are really cool, so I had to get one.
Yeah, filming the games on the shoulder Sony cam thing with the tape and the whatnot. Yeah.
The whole deal. Yep.
I think technology has slightly advanced from there. It's come a long way in the past few years of JUCO, and shout out to your program. You guys do a great job with your live stream, and I know that has to be an attractive draw, in a recruiting process to know that kids from, wherever they're from, or their family and friends are going to be able to watch them on the live stream that you guys put out. So you guys do a great job.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we have broadcasting is one of the like undergraduate things here, and yeah, Gary Chittister, our the voice of the Badgers, just retired this year, but he crushes it, and they do a great job, which is exactly like you said. We love that. I got family all over the country that are trying to watch games and stuff, so it's awesome. So we're glad we have it.
And here we are, 24-1. You're ranked number one in the country. The question that I always love asking you, I judge teams and coaches a lot by the non-conference schedule, right? There's games that you have to play, then you have the games that you can't play. And some of those kind of marquee games this year: Eastern Arizona, Arizona Western, Indian Hills, South Plains. The Hills game was the only one of those kind of the four of what I consider the big four that you played in the state of Utah. Tell us a little bit just about what it was like going on the road to Arizona, going to South Plains, and just your feelings about playing a schedule like that.
Yeah, luckily when I got this job, the AD here was Rob Nielsen, who was the previous head coach here at Snow. His last year here, they went to Hutch for the fourth time in school history, or third time in school history. So luckily, he's a guy that understands how hard JUCO is, the great level of coaches there are out there, and what it takes to kind of lead your program to where you want to go. And so when I got the job, I did like I learned in Division One. I was in charge of Division One scheduling, and you try to schedule as many W's as you can. And so after the second year of doing that, he said, "Hey, I understand you're trying to like go to Hutch and win a championship, do all that stuff, and you can continue to schedule the way you're scheduling, or you can try to go play the best teams you can." And the fact the year that his team went to Hutch, they went to Florida, played a bunch of great Florida Jukes, and it was awesome for him. And so the next two seasons, I've tried to adapt and adopt his kind of philosophy of we need to get ready for our league, and our league is just a bear. I mean, in our league, we've got Coach Rice, who's a former Division One UNLV head coach. We've got Bill Evans, who is former Division One Southern Utah Idaho State coach. Coach Reinert, who's been at Fresno State, played at Gonzaga. Like, I mean, just high level coaches in our league. And so to help prepare our team for what we would experience in the league, we definitely last year flipped the script of like, hey, let's just try to go play everybody that we can, anywhere that we can. And if teams are willing to return the games to us, like Indian Hills did for us this year, and shout out to Coach Dewey for doing that. Like that's to me a great opportunity for us to get our guys the experience that you can only really feel on the road, in a hostile environment with refs that know the opposing head coach way better than you do. All of those factors just go into trying to get yourself ready to play on the road. And so it definitely has paid off for us. I feel like our guys are more and more comfortable playing in those environments. Doesn't mean you're going to win them all, but it's definitely paid off in the sense of our guys feel comfortable in that hostile environment, and being able to get that comfort level makes it so when you go play at CSI, right? Like it's something that we've experienced before. It's not a oh, this is the first time. So that's definitely paid off.
I love your roster construction. You're shuffling in a lot of bigs. They all are a little bit different, but there's some similarities. I think your team last year was one of the favorites. At Hutch didn't go the way that you had hoped to, but doesn't diminish the incredible season that you had. How would you compare and contrast this year's team versus the group that went to Hutch last year with Finlinson and Garrett?
Yeah, I would say we have slightly more size this year than we did last year. I'd say Isaac Garrett particularly was an extremely unique offensive talent from the size that he had, the length that he had, and then his ability to play make and see the floor as a big guy. I mean, those guys do not come along very often. And so from an offensive standpoint, last year, I mean, from synergy numbers, we were number one in the country in offense, and I think this year we're in the top 10 in efficiency. And so I'd say our size this year, our ability to rebound is better this year than it was last year. Having Brock McClure, who leads our league in rebounding as a 6'6" wing, when we have some other 7-footers and so forth that can rebound, I think that's definitely a difference from our team from last year. So I would say maybe last year we were a little more offensively potent than we are this year, but defensively, I feel like we're a better team defensively this year. We're more physical. We're able to rebound at a high level. And I think that's going to pay off in the long run for us. But, each team's kind of unique, and adjusting to having bigs on the floor for a coach is challenging. I mean, you'd love it so all five guys on the floor can dribble, pass, and shoot, and read ball screens and do all that stuff. And so it is fun for me to be able to coach a different team with different stuff. But I'd say, at the core, the group of guys that we have are very similar to what we had last year, as far as ultra competitive, super unselfish. Like we're going to have different dudes on different nights that show up and make plays and play together. And I think that core is definitely identical to last year, as far as guys that want to do what it takes to win.
Is it a little bit of a challenge with your roster construction from a matchup standpoint in JUCO, because you have so many bigs, and a lot of times you are playing two, I would say, traditional post players? You just don't see that a lot in the JUCO game today. So I guess there's some pros and cons to that, right?
No doubt, no doubt. And I'd say, having coached in the West Coast Conference and watching teams like Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and then obviously Todd Golden, who was part of San Francisco, who's now at Florida, and see how those guys played with two big guys, it's definitely got its pros and cons. I mean, there's Arizona, right, is another team Tommy Lloyd does that's similar, that they play with two bigs, but you have to be really skilled to do it, and you have to have big guys that embrace the fact that they're going to be guarding guys that are quicker than them. They're going to be guarding guys that can put it on the floor. And so we work on it a ton with our big guys. And so it's just something you're out constantly being able to trade off. But like many cases last year, where I would play Isaac Finlinson some at the four, this year I do have capacity to go small ball if we need to. And so it's just really a like game by game, matchup by matchup deal. And but it's something that we have to work on all the time, because having big guys has its pros, but it also makes it challenging in other aspects, for sure.
You know, I love Brock McClure. I mean, the guy doesn't get a ton of minutes for like his production is off the charts at 15 and 9 for a 6'6" wing. I mean, I think he's one of the more underrated players nationally in the JUCO scene. But I want to ask you about one of my favorites in JUCO.
Okay.
The Mark Madsen of JUCO, if you will. Sometimes life gives you lemons and you get Lemke. So to tell this guy in 29 minutes in CSI round 2 gives you 29 points. I think he was 14 for 16 from the field. What got into the aura of the mustache and everything around Kyle Lemke that when he had his day in the sun?
Yeah. Definitely Kyle has worked like crazy. And, if you watch, he plays about half the game, where Sean Feltz plays the other half of the game. And, Sean's ability to score and do all of those things is great. Kyle just, I mean, he's worked super hard. And from a recruiting standpoint, he's 6'9", has a long wingspan, but he's not 6'11". I've got 3 6'11" dudes out there, 7-footers out there that okay, I don't know if he's going to be big enough. But the kid's super physical. He plays extremely hard. He brings it every day, and just has a great, personality. But his touch is phenomenal. His touch is phenomenal around the rim. Our guys joke in film, when we're watching film and there's one of his misses, we're all freak, Kyle, make a shot. I mean, he's 14 for 16 from the field. And when he shoots it with his right-handed misses, he's right-handed, but I mean, he probably made at least half of his buckets left-handed jump hooking, which to me, those dudes don't grow on trees. And so that sort of, mentality that he's going to bring it in a big game speaks to his ability to stick with it, where there's been some games where he didn't play as much, or, Sean against Indian Hills has, got 26 points or whatever, is cooking. And so that just his mentality.
You just go with the hot hand, right? You just,
exactly.
If they're hot, they're hot. You're right.
Exactly. And so I think that's kind of the mentality that he's developed, is hey, one of these games, it's going to be me. And now every game we're just Kyle, we expect that every game now, and so, but he's definitely come a long way that way. And I'd say another guy that's in that similar boat is Aaron Bliss. Aaron has done an unbelievable job, where a D1 coach will come in and look at his numbers and be how can I go to my head coach? The dude is, I think he's what is he, 56-3 in the last two seasons. Like the dude does everything it takes to win. And I think, rebounding, defending, switching and ball screens, all that stuff. I mean, you can't undervalue that stuff if you want to win at the next level, that those things are necessary.
And one of my favorite winners, maybe my favorite player in all of junior college basketball this year. And I get really upset when he misses a free throw, and I text you about it.
Yep.
But just talk about the evolution of McCaden Adams. I think and you have several guys who've returned, so it's just not him. But I think too often guys will look to make a transition out of JUCO after 1 year because they're mostly qualifiers today. But you have so many guys who come back for that second year and greatly elevate their situation while putting themselves, in a winning situation like you have at Snow. And just talk a little bit about him because he's had just an incredible year. And I think if, the season were to end today, he would be on the short list probably for National Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He redshirted at Utah Valley University before coming as a freshman to us, and just his commitment to development and the process has been awesome. Like coming in as a D1 bounce back, sometimes there's this expectation that I should be the man, and we had Isaac Finlinson and Isaac Garrett and Mark Brown and these guys that already had done their freshman seasons with us. They knew what we're trying to do, and he did a fantastic job as a freshman of coming into his role and being like, "Hey, I'm just going to maximize this role." And as a freshman, I mean, he had 27 at CSI. He had 20 against Midland in our one loss last year in the regular season, and then he, had another couple of big games as a freshman. But then there were some other games where he didn't play as much and didn't score as much, and just his I think what really helps those guys is to see the guys that are playing with them, that the Isaac Finlinsons, who's the National Player of the Year, right? Isaac Garrett, who goes on and has a whole bunch of Division I opportunities and, is hitting it out of the park at the next level. I think they buy into that process of, look, this is going to be my turn next year. And we have a couple guys right now, Blake Barr, Max Toombs, that are kind of in similar boats of watching these guys that are consistently producing and like, man, I want to be part of that. I love the winning, but I'm going to get those opportunities the next year. And Cade's really embraced it, and just he's super super skilled. Somebody's going to take a chance at the high major level and look at him and go, I mean, he can play in ball screens, he can shoot it, he gets to the foul line, he's super crafty, he's athletic, like all those things eventually will pay out. But he's done a great job.
Someone described him as sneaky athletic, and I corrected them and said he's not sneaky athletic. He's just athletic athletic. Like you can take the sneaky out of it. Like he's just a good athlete.
Yeah.
All right, now you can give. I'm going to ask you a question. I've never asked it publicly before, so you can give me the politically correct answer, and then I'll turn things over to Brandon for the hard hitting stuff. But
Of course.
do you kind of set the expectation when you bring in a guy like, like a Max Toombs, who's I think going to be incredible next year? Do you set the expectation that this is like it's a 2-year process at Snow for you to max out your ability, or do you sit down with him at the end of the year and you evaluate, what the opportunities are? What does that look for how you run your program?
Yeah, I would say I think everybody's journey is different. We definitely have um, guys that have come here for one season, hit it out of the park. Chance Trujillo was with us for 1 year last year, and he just got WAC Player of the Week this last week, hit the game winner against UTA at home. Braun Roberts, who came to us for one season, was a four-star kid out of high school. He's got multiple D1 stuff, and unfortunately for him, he tore his ACL this last week, and so we're gonna have to see how that goes. But I mean, he has D1 opportunities to leave right now, and so I definitely don't try to tell guys, "Hey, you're a 2-year guy, you're a 1 year." I mean, because I believe in the competitive opportunity that is out there for them to come in and work as hard as they can and hit it out of the park. But I am very honest about the fact that we have really good players that they're going to compete against. And if it doesn't give them all the stuff that they want immediately, it's making them into the best player that they can be so that when they are done here, they're ready to rock at the next level. And I try to talk about that a bunch with our guys about like, look, what you're doing every day in practice, the consistency that you're bringing, the competitiveness that you guys are going after each other every day, that's going to pay off because that's exactly what you got to do when you go to this next spot. When you're at this next D1 spot, there's dudes there and you're consistency that you've developed here is going to make it so you can beat those dudes out when you get there. And so I never try to, pigeonhole the dude that, hey, this is what you're going to be. Obviously, I've got examples of guys that have left after 1 year, but I've got guys that have been here for 2 and were the national player of the year. So like, I think having those conversations with them are really helpful. I've got a kid from BYU, Chamberlain Burgess, who BYU plays with us. Similar thing. Are you going to be gone after 1 year? You're going to be gone after 2? Who knows? Another kid from Utah State, similar thing. And so I think being honest with them about those things is awesome.
All right,
Well,
Brandon,
Coach,
you hit
I
him.
get to jump in. Yeah, I get the hard hitter now. This is the question that people really, it stumps them because they have to think about it, right? It's a process and change of pace. So let's just imagine for a moment that Lemke plays 30 minutes and has 30 points in a game because apparently that 1-to-1 ratio works for him and the staff. And you say, you know what, Kyle, that was great. You've earned a special treat for the team. Tonight we're going to Chili's for post game meal. What are you eating at Chili's, Coach?
I mean, honey chipotle chicken crispers is the way to go. Yeah, chips and salsa, chips and guac, chips and queso. All of those are just super, super solid, no doubt. I mean, you can't go wrong with those. If anybody just asked me, that's the recommendation. You got to hit that. Unless if it's a little too spicy for you, whatever. But it's great. I mean, that's the constant every time.
Correct.
Consistency is key, and the Badgers have been very consistent
Yeah,
in time there. So, there's probably some correlation. But, Coach, we appreciate you coming on. Excited to see you guys finish out the season here and catch up with you when we're out in beautiful Hutchinson, Kansas. So, uh,
appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. And thanks for you guys. I mean, doing this stuff is a big deal. Part of being in JUCO is we're constantly trying to put ourselves out there. There's a whole bunch of other things people can watch and people can do, but you guys promoting junior college is such a big deal. And I hope, people who don't know, if they pay attention, they'll start figuring it out that what you guys do and what JUCO is an awesome thing. So thanks for all you do.
absolutely, Coach. We appreciate you. When we come back, we are going to get into the grind.
For the last 87 years, the NJCAA has provided academic and athletic opportunities to thousands of student athletes. However, several rules make it more challenging for two-year college transfers. Recently, 16 national coaches associations, led by the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association, sent a request for change to NCAA leadership to make the rules the same for all transfers. We commend their leadership and stand together in support of same game, same rules.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. Right now, we're going to transition to the grind, where we're talking about a current JUCO player who's having a great season. By many accounts, the #1 rated junior college player in the country, the left-handed point guard from Gulf Coast, Trent Lincoln, averaging over 20 points a game, 6'3" from Baltimore. Talk a little bit about Trent. I know you're familiar with his game, Brandon.
Yeah, Gulf Coast having a great season, a back in the spotlight type season, and you can really point to Trent as a lot to do with that. They do. Coach Blow does a great job down there. Lots of players contributing, but Trent is the proverbial stick that stirs the drink in this one. Lots of recruitment, high level player, high level skill set. To have a real point guard that can also score like that, but actually understands the game, has the kind of floor vision he does, and the intelligence that he does. Just is a massive game changer in JUCO basketball. That point guard spot is tough to find in JUCO, and so for him to be able to go in and do what he's doing is pretty special.
Has he signed already yet, Brandon?
He is committed to TCU.
TCU.
Yes.
Yes. And so they would have back-to-back I guess, number one rated players, with Xavier Edmonds from Salt Lake going there last year. So they kind of got that JUCO pipeline thing going on. Very cool.
They figure JUCO guys aren't going to complain too much about that court that TCU plays on. The JUCO guys, they're just happy to be there, right? It
They're
doesn't
just
matter what
happy.
the court looks like.
Good
So
meal plan,
good meal
right?
plan.
Good meal
They love the
plan.
calf. Who doesn't love the calf? So
Let's transition, if we shall, to the show. This is a cool one. This is a former JUCO Jam Player of the Year.
yeah,
Isaac Finlinson from Snow went out to Hawaii, joined the Rainbows. 6'6", 185-pound wing from St. George, Utah, played at Snow last year, averaging 8.4 per game, maybe a little bit slower start than some would anticipate. However, averaging 33 minutes a game over the last four, and he's trusted his training. He's a 47% three-point shooter. He's a bit of a sniper. Talk about Isaac and his story.
yeah, that transition can take a minute, right? And Hawaii is having their best season in a long time as well. So this is no slouch team that he went to. He was a huge role player for them in the first part, and now he is a huge starter for them and doing an absolutely great job. I was talking to him the other day. He's married, and I said, how's it going out there? How are things? He said, oh, everything's great. Everything's whatever. I said, I'm sure it was really, really difficult to convince your wife that Hawaii was
The
probably
right place.
the right
Yeah.
place for you. He said, yeah, no, she likes it out here a lot. I said, yeah.
Feels a little bit different than Isaac Garrett choosing to go to Oakland.
But you know what? If you know Isaac Garrett, perfect fit for him. That dude is
Yeah.
is just as happy sitting in a deer blind as he is on a basketball court. So, but yeah, Isaac's doing great out there. Wonderful, wonderful kid, and it's great to see him succeed.
That's awesome. All right, guys, stay with us. When we return, we're going to have our closing thoughts on our six-man segment.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. This is a fun segment, Brandon, because you don't know what's coming. We're going to go to our JUCO Jam mailbag, if you will. First question out of the mailbag: who are the front runners for Player of the Year? Who is the next Isaac Finlinson?
Man, it's harder this year, I feel like.
It feels harder.
Yeah, it feels harder because I really got to kind of point at Trent Lincoln right now, who we just talked about. So that's convenient. Um, because there's that argument of like, okay, who's the top one or two teams, and obviously the best player on those teams, and that's usually kind of where that discussion goes. But Gulf Coast is in somewhat new territory for them as far as like a real legitimate shot at winning a national championship, and that has to do with Trent Lincoln. And so for you to be able to point to him, not only is he having incredible success, not only is he really at this point the highest recruited junior college player, but he is the keystone as far as them making the kind of noise that they're making right now. So yeah, man, you put me on the spot. I'm gonna have to go Trent Lincoln.
Okay. And you could go multiple on these. These are fun.
100%. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is. Please don't hate me. You can email Nick.
Yeah, keep them coming to the mailbag. All right. The next question is someone complained that we talk a lot about guards on the show, and they wanted to know who you thought the top big man or big
Ryan Hunt.
men
Ryan
in
Hunt.
the country were.
Ryan Hunt. Ryan Hunt's the best big man in the country for me right now.
Yeah.
Now, look, Terry Copeland probably walk up and, knock my head off for saying that. But Terry, I love you and you're fantastic, but there's just something different about a true 7-footer that can come in with some skill, that's getting 23 rebounds in a Division I game. Like, I mean, how can you not be just emotional about a 7 foot Aussie coming in and kicking butt in junior college basketball?
I
Like,
love that. I love that answer. Also, Nazir Allen is
oh
kind of
yeah,
a fun one. Like, there's flashes of like super cool stuff that he does. Like you can see why teams might fall in love with a guy like that just because of the big splashes that he
not only
makes.
are we getting more point guards, more really good point guards in JUCO, we're also getting more really good big men, and a lot of that has to do with the transfer portal. More kids are going junior college for one reason or another, and so we're just seeing like an influx of this talent, and then of course the international impact on that as well is starting to really flesh out, and I think we'll continue to do so and grow, and you know yeah, it's just great all around. But yeah, for me, give me 23 rebound Ryan Hunt, all 7 foot of him.
Awesome. And good passer.
Good passer, great passer.
Real nice passer. And probably the way the JUCO game is built, bigs don't shine the way that they will at the next level, right? Because
Yeah.
there's games that he might have to go out and guard a 6'3" wing because that's the biggest guy on the other team, or a 6'5", more of a traditional, maybe stretch four. So I think his best basketball is ahead of him, and I think he will really shine at the Division I level. All right. Every year, the way that it works, we have this weird rule of three that happens in JUCO, where you have these top 8 seeds, 3 of them lose every year, but of the remaining 5, traditionally 3 of them make the Final Four. So that's our second round of 3. So 3 and 3. So we're looking for a team outside of the 8 that get a bye, who's going to make it to the Final Four. So I want you to give me, this is not throwing shade at anybody, right? Give me the name of a team or two that you think is not going to get a top 8 seed that you think can be in the Final Four.
Golly. You go first.
I love Walter State. I love Coach Jerry Nichols' confidence. I love the fact that he's never lost a first round game at Hutch.
That's a great one.
And they got shooters galore.
Yeah.
Carter Webb for days. That kid is JUCO Devin Booker. But then the other ones I had in my, I'll give you 4. Here's my 4. You tell me, you can stack rank.
I'll give you my favorite.
All right. All right. So I got Walter State.
Yeah.
John A. Logan right now to me is the best team in the country because they have the 2, I think, best freshmen in the country with Cam McDaniels and Christian Dorr, who are just like on JUCO domination mode right now. McLennan, if they get in, they just don't give up the points. Yeah. They don't let people score. And then I'm going to go with Kilgore. Why is Kilgore not in the top 10? So those are my 4 that I think will not get a top 8 national seed that I think could be in the Final Four.
So I love the Walter State pick. I think that's a great pick. And of course, Jerry Nichols, friend of the program, does a phenomenal job.
He's going to get him wound up too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, he's going to, I just want to interview him post game after Dub. It's a phenomenal interview.
He's going to say we counted him out too, but not us, Jerry.
Yeah. Not us. And I love the Kilgore pick because we do talk a lot about guards because you know what? Guards are kind of the thing that make the engine go in JUCO. That's just how it is. So quit picking on us and sending nasty letters. But Kilgore has great guard play, and if those 2 are clicking at the same time, they can really, really get a lot done. So that Kilgore and battle tested, right? Region 14 is very good.
Oh yeah, they'll be ready to go.
Yeah,
you play. You play Trinity Valley during the regular season, you'll be ready to go for national tournament. All right. I think that's a good show. Got a lot done. We did. All right. Episode 10 in the books, guys. I hope everyone out there enjoyed the show. Feel free to send us messages on X. We'll try to get them on the JUCO mailbag here on our 6-man segment. But I hope everybody has a great junior college basketball week, and we'll see you here same time next week.